Okay, okay. All right. Teams are ready to play. They're a little bit early, everyone here today, so that is actually a good thing. Um, yeah. So what we have here today is a matchup between, I believe they are Division D. Um, Double checking that. Yes, two Division D teams, and this is the an Aces Wild unit team. Let's get that correct screen here. Um, they are the Joker's Wild, which is the second highest team from the Aces Wild unit. And on the opposing side, we have Lance of Marduk. Um, I was trying to read it up, and I believe it's Babylonian deity. So I'm probably going to pronounce it horrible, whatever I try here. Oh boy, that was terrible. All right. We're starting with a 1v1. We have two trial summoners with a pair of UAC 10s on them. And both players are going to be in identical mechs. So we'll see what the strategy here is, if the players are going to stand off at range or if they're going to try to close in and brawl. If they're at range, they can control the jams a little bit better, taking cover behind, objects when they have a jam, and then exposing and fighting when they do not. I believe I might have a co-caster joining me here. Just one second. Whereas if they go up and they start brawling with no cover to hide behind, they will end up... yeah, there we go. Gotta switch over my... Okay. Uh, Blue Devil Spawn is joining me as co-caster, I believe. I'll have to bring them into the lobby after this. We're already doing a 1v1 right now. Teams were decided to get started a little bit early. Damage lead currently in the favor of Aces Wild. No significant damage has been dealt by either player. As these are trial mechs, both players do know the exact armoring and ammo location, everything on their opponent's mech. So I'm seeing leg damage here on the Aces Wild player. So I'm wondering if Lance of Marduk might be targeting legs, as the legs are relatively stripped on this trial mech. The damage lead is significant at the moment. Looks like most of the damage is going to the torsos on the Lance of Marduk player. %6 is somewhat significant damage lead here. Now, Ace's Wild player is electing to Pop-Tart. I wonder if their leg... Yes, there is an open red leg on the Ace's Wild player. So this is going to close to brawl here, as Budweiser is using cover to protect that leg, and they're now attempting to leg shield as well. So there we go. Leg is off. Ace's Wild player is legged. Nothing open yet on the Lancer Murdoch player. Strelok? Go with that. Strelok has an advantage here, but it's going to come down to how well Budweiser can shield their leg. They can keep the remaining leg hidden behind the damage leg. That will give them a potential advantage here. Damage reduction is something like a quarter of damage being transferred from destroyed component to the side torso even, so it wouldn't even be going to that second leg that is red armored. The second leg now is no longer armored. It's, yeah, here we go. This is going to finish it off. Both players going toe-to-toe. Whoever gets jams versus no jams is probably going to end up winning this. And we have a win. The Lance of Murdoch player manages to get that second leg. Both side torsos are open at 46%, but Strelok has won the fight. So well played. the oh, there's an issue still with the spreadsheet not registering the points correctly. And I don't think
That's
I
good.
can,
I'll just track it real time for you.
yeah, I don't think I can override it so that the display is not going to be correct. So it actually should be showing 2 points in the favor of Lancer Murdoch. Or Marduk? An A. Yeah. My understanding is it's a Mesopotamian deity. So I have no idea how the correct pronunciation would be. Yeah, I need to Nagtag. Okay. Oh, that didn't work. I need to bring Blue Devil Spawn in. Are we friends? Oh, there you are. Okay. Yeah, I've already started the lobby, so I guess I'll just keep running it. Um, oh, I don't have you. There we go. Now I've got you coming through on the stream properly. Hope.
Hello, all. Hopefully you can hear me, but no problem if not.
Yeah, it looks like it's coming through. I think the volume's good. There's a little bit of an echo on your mic, but that's fine. Okay. Can I override the points? That is my question. I think because it's a formula-based system, it's gonna mess it up if I do.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll keep track of the points offline on my own count, so no worries there.
Okay. Yeah. So any viewers out there, there's just add +1 to the point total for Lance of Marduk from here on out. We'll try to get that fixed this week. Okay, so we're on to the 2v2. I need to change the map. The map is going to be Steiner Coliseum. I did drop the ignore enhancements. I've got it first person only. I guess we might have a second here. I'm going to go over the damage from the previous drop, which I think I have up on screen. And yeah, so Strelok did less damage, but got the kill because they went for those weak legs, whereas Budweiser was trying to go for the side torsos, had both side torsos open on their opponent, did 100 more damage, but did not pick up the kill. So I guess we maybe see that the strategy of going legs is maybe favorable.
Yep, looks like both teams are locked for round two.
All right, let's get in there. Uh,
Good settings. I noticed Ace as well is dropping 120 tons, and Lance of Marduk is dropping 130, so it looks like Lance of Marduk is maxing out their tonnage at 75 and 55.
yeah, so this next fight, we're going to the Steiner Coliseum. It's a 2v2, and the it's assault plus light. So each team has one
Oh, right.
assault and one light.
That's my bad then. Sorry, I meant 130. See what they take.
Yeah, we'll see what they have. I'm looking at Aces Wild. I'm seeing a Highlander Keeper. We already know the build on that. Should be a pair of LBX-20s and 4 SRM-6 with Artemis. The only build on that particular chassis. And they're bringing a Kit Fox Purifier, the hero, with small pulse heavy machine gun. So very much brawly on both of their mechs. Over on Lancer Murdoch, we have a Kodiak with AC-10, ERPPC, and a pair of Flamers. So that's a little bit non-standard. And it's paired up with a Kit Fox with SRM-6 with Artemis. So that's a set of 8 build on the Kit Fox D.
This will be very interesting because there definitely is more range on the Marduk side. Um, and they have a nice mixture of like DPS splat with the Kit Fox and pinpoint with the Kodiak.
Yeah.
The Keeper is definitely known for his tankiness and agility, and the Kit Fox, you can build on any variant, but the SPL HMG build is a monster with DPS.
Yeah, the Kit Fox with the SRMs needs to stay away from that Highlander Keeper. It'll get one shot. Needs to find a flank angle here. Right now, Kodiak is dealing damage on the approach here. The Highlander is the target. Nothing critical yet. There's an open arm on it. That arm does have weaponry, so that wouldn't be... the Kodiak shut down here, and now the Kit Fox is pushed in on it. So Ace's Wild is getting their Kit Fox on the Kodiak. Kodiak goes down. And then we have the Highlander Keeper as the low mech. Nothing really vulnerable on it. So looks like maybe the Kit Fox, Ivan the Terrible, is changing target, going after the opposing Kit Fox, trying to pick up the easier kill and get their team back some points. Both legs are weak on that Kit Fox Purifier. Ivan the Terrible has both legs open on their Kit
Uh-oh.
Fox as well. The
I
Highlanders
wonder if
bailed out of the fight.
Baron is
That's
maybe
yeah,
Disco or something.
yeah, that's a
He's going
disconnect.
circles.
So
Wow.
yeah, I didn't notice it was running circles. That would explain why it was not participating. In
Yep.
the end, the disconnect does not punish Ace's Wild. They do pick up the win. Clean 2-0 victory here.
I'll click the stats just in case as well. Yeah, interesting. Looking at the damage numbers, both bigs broke 300, both lights broke 200, although the purifier was close to 300, so fairly equal damage delta, I would say, even with the disco.
Yeah, I guess a little bit of luck there that you know, the Kodiak went down before the Highlander disconnected. That would have been more challenging to win without the early participation of that Highlander. So
Absolutely.
nice to see
So right
that
now,
the disconnect ultimately didn't really affect the outcome of the fight.
oh yeah, look at that the broken socket there. Yeah, well now it looks like the points are 6-2 in favor of Aces Wild. Aces picked up 2 points for each kill, 2 points for the 2v2 win, against 2 points from the 1v1 initially. So we are at 6-2 in favor of Aces.
Yep.
All right, looks like the next map is going to be Liao Jungle.
Yeah, Liao Jungle, it's going to be a heavy and a medium on each team. So,
And that's what I had in mind initially when I said 75 and 55. But we can see any number of combos.
yeah, yeah. There's a couple ways to play Liao Jungle. You can play it as a range standoff strat or as a quick push brawl.
Both teams are locked also. Oh my god, they're moving quickly.
Okay,
Looks
well,
like Lance is maxed out on tonnage again, and Aces surrenders 5 tons, but pretty close.
all right, let's get this. Get this going. No need to keep the teams waiting. Okay, I'm looking at Team 2 in the red, which is the Lance of Murdoch. We have an Orion Stormcrow, so that is the fast brawl option, or relatively fast. LBX 20, SRM 6, they do bring flamers on both of their mechs, running basically identical builds with the flamers on each of them. And on the opposing side, Aces Wild, they are bringing also flamers on their Orion 2CA, and then a Paquette, which is only 6 SRM 6, but they did bring Artemis on there.
Packet opting for more concentrated damage, but ultimately both teams bringing Splat.
Yeah, both teams just going straight in here. We have a little bit of early focus fire on the Orions for both sides. Arm goes off on one of these Orions, that not overly relevant. Heat damage is starting to apply. These mechs should be powering down, and we have early kill through the legs. The Orion is side torso though, so looks like they might be dropping off back in the fight here, and maybe the mediums are going to get a little bit of an early skirmish
Oh
here.
yeah. But to me, it is very heat capped at the moment, riding at 100.
Yeah, Highlander is
cooking
leg now, and they are
themselves.
cooking.
Yeah.
And this is probably, yep,
Left leg
there it goes,
and ultimate.
self-destruction. The
There you go.
Flamers coming in big there at the end.
Definitely did. I mean, with a brawl like that, and you get up there, even those typically low heat weapons will have a good amount of heat generated over time. So, absolutely.
I had not seen very many Flamers leading up to this, so a little bit surprised that 3 out of 4 mechs had Flamers on that drop. Both teams
It's
coming to
interesting.
a similar conclusion.
Yeah. There are some lower heat options. I think we ran the Mad Dog Charlie setup 8, for example, with two LV20s. Even if you flame that mech, you're not overheating because I think an alpha is maybe 6%, and then it dissipates. So, there are resistant options, I guess I would say.
Yeah. So with that win, Lancer Murdoch comes out ahead 8 points to 6. The display screen is incorrect for any viewers joining us right now. There's an issue with the overlays. So you got to add 1 point to Lancer Murdoch on all these drops. Okay.
All right, Conquest, good switch. Map to Tourmaline,
There
12
we go.
minutes, perfect. There we go. I'll be right back.
Okay, damage on the last drop. Actually, top damage is coming out of that Highlander paquette. 357 damage dealt before they ultimately cooked under the pressure of the Flamers. Top damage Lancer Murdoch is from the Orion 2CA with 340. They lost a side torso a little bit early on there, but they put out a big burst to start off with. Damage fairly even between the two teams. So the Flamers possibly helping to do some self damage to the Ace's Wild mechs. For the next drop, we're going to play Conquest, single cap active on each of the maps for the remaining drops here. It's going to be 5v5, it's still clan mechs only, and we have a 200-ton limit for this next drop, which is technically drop 2. The first drop being made up of 3 smaller drops. The 1v1 and the pair of 2v2s are all considered to be drop 1. The drop 2 is 200-ton limit for the teams, and yeah, 5v5, which works out to 40 tons per mech. So easy drop building solution here is to take a bunch of Vipers and Arctic Wolves. There are some other mechs that are fairly popular we might see as well. Shadowcat would be a strong option on this map with the spires that you can use the jump jets to get up to if a team wants to play more of a range style. That would be an option. I've also seen teams taking a number of light mechs in order to free up the tonnage to take a heavy. So that's also an option. Seems to be a little bit unpopular, but hard to say what these teams are going to elect to bring. Now, Tourmaline Desert, you can play Overwatch with the Spires to give you a range power position. But for the most part, the map's fairly open and not a lot of cover in some areas, so it's possible to try and do a kiting strategy. Saw a team pull it off yesterday with a bunch of like ER medium light machine gun Vipers. Okay, both teams are
Pretty
locked,
much.
so in we go.
You need a lot of patience with the kiting strategy, but yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, difficult to pull off. Ace's Wild brought 200 tons. Lancer Murdoch is running 195.
And anything is also going to be around really the spawn positions. Team one really has options to either play range, play kite if they want to, or even use that height advantage to disguise a brawl push, as my own team found out yesterday when we fought. Team 2 gets into a little, I think, a little later, unfortunately, but the way the map is laid out.
All right, teams are coming in. I'm looking at Aces Wild. We have Arctic Wolves, Kit Fox, and a Huntsman. So they did bring a light to bring their tonnage up for a Huntsman there. Huntsman's going to be the slowest mech on their team. Purifier is actually bringing small pulse light machine gun. I'm guessing. Oh, Paquette is streaks. Okay. So that's going to be good against lighter tonnage stuff. Arctic Wolf with streaks. Are all of these going to be streaks?
Looks like it's all streaks. Packet, two
Yeah.
Arctic Wolves with streaks.
And
Three Arctic Wolves, more than.
those Arctic Wolves are actually the 97 kph Omni-Mech. They can bring things like jump jets and ECM on those. Now,
Oh
opposing
my
side,
goodness, the other side.
we've got ATMs on the Kit Fox from Lancer Murdoch, streaks on the Shadowcat. Both Shadowcats with streaks. Are all three? Yes, all three with streaks, and then ATMs
Everything is
on
streaks and
both Kit
ATMs.
Fox. So a lot of lock-on missiles here. Teams are electing to go for those. Lock-on's effective
Canary and
against.
ECM Insight. No ECM at all. This is going to be great.
Oh boy, the Arctic Wolves could have brought ECM, but that's.
They could have. You're right. Yeah.
I have not seen very many lock-on missiles on this drop, and they are effective against lighter tonnage mechs. So a little bit surprised I haven't seen streaks. Those ATMs outrange just about everything here. So a little bit early
Absolutely.
damage here to one of those Arctic Wolves. I'm going to check to see if anything significant occurred there. Aces Wild, despite having the ATMs being fired on them, they are playing it slow. They're standing underneath a UAV, or is that UAV shot down already? I
No, they
believe
have their own
both
UAV up.
teams have a UAV above Theta right now. That would provide locks for those ATMs, but I'm not seeing any weapons fire. There we go. A little bit of an ATM volley coming in.
Yeah, the ATMs are going to be fired at range. These aren't any of those Giga Quirk mechs like the new Legendary to Hal, where you get 4 to 77
Yeah,
in range ATMs, but
they're
that'll
still
get
doing
closer to.
meaningful damage out to, what is it, like 600 meters, 500 meters?
Yeah, just about 2 damage. Yeah.
But both teams are playing this pretty standoff. Lancer Murdoch is remaneuvering, try and find an angle, but they aren't. They are not doing a whole lot at the moment. The pressure is on them in order to start landing meaningful damage here because the cap point is in the favor of Aces Wild. I doubt we're going to
Looks
see
like they're
cap.
starting to make a slight push around Stargate. Yeah, going through Fox 5 maybe.
That's probably a good idea. There's those ATMs do have issues with catching terrain when they're being fired. So if they switch sides here, they'll have a little bit more open terrain between the two of the teams.
Yeah. It's interesting. Streak SRMs actually have a longer range than your standard SRMs, so they will be doing roughly equal damage at 2 damage range for ATMs as well. So it's going to be a fairly equal fight, I would say. Comes down
Yeah,
to who can get the lock-ons and volleys off quicker.
I'm
These are all very pop-tarty lock-on mix.
yeah, I'm curious how much ammunition is on those Kit Foxes. 800 meters on or 800 rounds on the one. So, assuming they're both the same, ammunition should not be a concern. The Kit Fox, the ATMs have a minimum range. Oh, Arctic Wolf is legged. Aces Wild have a legged mech that is now out of the fight effectively. So the advantage is
Looks
in the
like,
favor of Lancer Murdoch. Marduk.
looks like Alpha Hellcat has lost one of its streak launchers so far. It's taking a lot of damage on Bravo's rated import, but it's getting a lot of streaks and missiles fired as well. Tanking
Yeah,
pretty well though, it's spreading the damage.
both teams are losing percentages here, and that leg mech is coming back into range where it will be able to participate in the fight. One of the interesting things about ATMs versus streaks is that the ATMs have this damage drop where they end up hitting center torso if a mech is running toward them, or legs if the mech is running away, and the streaks will not have that same that same activity. So
Yeah. Praetorian Romulus dropped. Otherwise, the percentages are also still favoring. Oh, the packet takes a hit. Percentages are favoring Lancer Marduk still, although the Shadowcat Zeo dead, I think. might be halved.
Open side torso, not gone
So
yet.
yeah, yeah, there we go. Right, it's lost its arm. Side right torso is about to go, maybe.
Yeah, center torso open, side torso is just about gone.
Oh, but somebody fell into the pit. They're out of the fight for a little bit.
Now there is one mech with direct fire weaponry here, but they're not getting in range. The Kit Fox from Pincushion, both legs are open, yellow and orange. So, um, that was maybe an advantage that they had in that they could actually focus damage, which streaks and ATMs do not focus damage. So if there's an open component, you can fire 2, 3 volleys and never get it off. Whereas with
Yeah,
this small pulse heavy machine gun, that would be able to quickly remove those damage components if it was in range, and it's not. It really has not had an opportunity to go in. Both teams just content to trade streak missiles at range, which is an interesting combat style here.
absolutely. I haven't really seen close range trades in this regard yet. That Fox, by the way, is open both legs, so it needs to be able to close and finish off open components and mechs. There are a lot of open mechs, at least two on the Marduk side, both Shadowcats.
Yeah, Huntsman
But
open
let's see
center
what
torso
can be
yellow.
done.
This Shadowcat in the pit, 16%, but has not died yet. Rather impressive. Still
It's
has
tempting.
weaponry. We are getting to the halfway mark here in terms of match time. So it's going to come up to Lance of Murdoch to get the full kill here. They need to kill all 5 mechs right shortly here, or they are not going to have time to get the caps. And even the survivors. Oh, here we go. Here's the push.
There we go. Now they're
Lance of
pushing.
Murdoch's gone, and they've found an
Alpha's taking a
opening.
lot of hits.
These mechs, they're all so wounded. They're just going to start dropping any second now. It feels like. There we go. Shadowcat goes
Oh,
down.
Shadowcat goes down.
Um,
Looks like Kit Fox, that's from Kit Fox, or ATM Kit Fox is about to drop as well, it looks like. Or I guess it also sort of depends on the RNG of the streaks,
yeah,
but we'll see.
Pincushion here is getting some damage out before going down. So many heavily wounded mechs, but it's a slow-moving combat because the cycle time
That
on
goes
those
down.
streaks is actually rather long, so the DPS is fairly low, and the damage is not focused. Ivan the Terrible has been legged in their Shadowcat.
Yeah, against fighting against Baron, also legged in his Arctic Wolf.
The
Oh,
16% Shadow Cat here was still managing to jump up and put in some damage potentially, but now it's a 2v1. It's a legged Huntsman from the movement, I'm guessing. This Kit Fox from Strelok actually looks relatively healthy, being pursued by an Arctic Wolf with 2 open side torsos. Huntsman's open center torso, but does have both its legs. It's just a little bit slower. So I
oh,
guess everyone's...
Huntsman.
Oh, it's powered.
Arctic Wolf gets
Oh, he's
halved.
out of ammo. Kit Fox is out of ammo.
I
So
wonder if that's a
that's
debate, but
that's the
it's not.
drop. No, I checked the cockpit. That is legit. So how did the ammo counts look on the opponents? Still plenty
They
of
still
ammo
have some.
on Budweiser, and the Huntsman looks like it is firing as well. So that
Yeah,
would
looks like
be
they're trying to finish him off. There
the
we go.
game.
I don't think I've ever seen a comp match like that before. I've definitely seen one or two strict mechs specifically like fight against, piranhas or something to eat them, but
Yeah,
all lock-ons, with the exception of a single mech, is a new concept for sure.
it definitely played out a lot slower than a traditional brawl. Just they don't have any DPS with those weaponry.
Absolutely. Looks like some really consistent damage numbers, mostly across Knights of Marduk. Big spike in cleanup duties go to Budweiser and his Arctic Wolf. Over 900 damage on with his streaks and his Arctic Wolf. But yeah, that was quite the match. I've never seen one of those again.
Yeah, Lance and Murdoch picked up some points there. 5 points by my count, so they should be up to 13 points total to 20 points from the Joker's Wild. And still plenty of matches to be played here.
Absolutely. Just a few kills worth of points behind. Very close.
Oh, Blair City is the next map.
That's right, Solaris.
There we go.
And a cap for this one is 300 tons.
Yeah, 900 damage in that last drop from Budweiser in that Arctic Wolf. Um, that's a lot of damage for such a low tonnage drop, but that's because all the damage is being spread all over the mech due to the streaks. Um,
Yeah. It's also interesting when I think it was uh, Zild, Zildjian, maybe, when he ran out of ammo, he basically conceded. If they had been up on caps, I believe he could have tried to contest it by simply being in the cap at the same time, assuming he stayed alive to let time run out. But
yeah,
it wasn't in the card since he wasn't able to contest it, and Ace Wall had points anyway, had tickets anyway up on them.
yeah. Yeah, I couldn't run away and hide or anything of that nature because they were down in caps. I was interested there. It looked like maybe they attempted a power down, but there were so many tags on the field that powering down wouldn't have prevented a lock. But the thing about streaks is that they cannot fire unless if they can get a lock, and if you power down and the streak mech doesn't have a tag or an active probe, Beagle active probe, light active probe, they won't be able to fire on the powered down mech. So could have been a scenario where you play out to deny a point, seeing as you have no other play once you're out of ammo and you're down in caps.
That's actually a really good point. I don't think I've ever tested that before. Oh, Team 1 is locked, it looks like. Nice. Um, like, I know you need. The funny thing is, Power Down is a way to do it, and you can't dead fire streaks.
Yeah.
But I wonder if a Beagle probe or a probe of some sort could counter that to allow you to fire streaks. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yep. That's one of the things that the active probe, Beagle active probe, and light active probe do is that they detect shutdown mechs. Little carryover from the lore.
Yep. My lord.
Yeah. Okay, teams are readied up again. So we're dropping 300 tons on Aces Wild, 290 on Lance of Marduk.
Yep. And it looks like you're doing a great job so far. I'm watching the delayed stream. I'm always checking for the radio cast, but you're
Yeah,
doing great.
got to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
After this, I have to remember to switch the overlay sides as we are switching team sides after this drop.
I'll remind you.
Yeah, 50-50, right? Oh. Oh no, I messed up my camera. I can fix it. Okay, there we go. And we have teams coming in. I'm going to be looking at Aces Wild on their arrival. We have a Mistlings G, a pair of Orion 2C A's, a Timberwolf S, and a Huntsman C. Timberwolf is the one that interests me there. Mistlings, heavy machine gun with ERA micro lasers, pretty standard. Orion 2C A's are bringing LBX-20 with SRM-6 Artemis. Checking to see builds on both. There are flamers on one of those Orions, not on the other. Timberwolf is 4 small pulse and 4 SRM-6 with Artemis, so that is possibly a set of 8 build. And then the Huntsman C has the 6 SRM-6 with Artemis, so not quite the face-hugging high alpha non-Artemis 8 SRM-6, which is a choice they are making there. That's actually
And
not
that's
a
very
Packet,
interesting.
so they might not own the Packet there. That might be the
Yeah.
reason.
Interestingly, on the Lance of Marduk side, they're opting for a mixed approach. They have a couple of Brawly builds with an Arctical Prime, as well as a Revenant, both with Brawl builds. But they're also playing range with a Deathstrike as Gauss, ER large, ER meds, I believe, and two Hunchy 2CAs
Hunchback
with Laser Pommel.
Strelog with their Hunchback 2CA has gotten a high ground position here. I was not aware of this position.
Oh yeah. It's if you have the jets and most critically the skills, there are actually a number of places even heavy mix can reach. Yeah, so you probably max out his jump test. I notice he's carrying your large and your meds, so he's not taking the pulse or may have skipped the engine or heat sinks as well to get the extra just to get up there.
Yeah,
But it looks like they're looking to play for a denial strat. but they don't currently have the cap, it seems.
Yeah, they don't have the cap, but if they can get the angles, just put in some early damage before they send someone to go get the cap, they do have a lot of time to work with.
Yeah. It also seems like the way they're set up, they're trying to bait Aces of the Wild in and ambush them with the splat
Here
builds
we
as well.
go.
As I can see the Revenant hiding.
There's a cap attempt here from Alex Axon, but the Orion 2CA is moving into deny, and the Arctic Wolf is taking damage. Now, the Orion will be taking damage when it tries to get back into cover here, having been pulled out. So 84% there. And Alex's Arctic Wolf did not take too much damage there, so relatively successful attempt there. Just baiting out
Yeah.
one of the Orions to take some damage. I'm not seeing any strikes going out, and given how stationary Aces Wild are right now, a couple airstrikes could be quite effective here.
Yeah. I was about to say the Mad Dog hadn't moved at all. I think they were planning on using Arctic Wolf to pull somebody, maybe one or two mechs into the Mad Dog's powerful splat. But now he's moving and he's looking into probably take a flanking position on a cap point.
That Orion has a very narrow piece of cover that it has to sit in order to not take damage from the crossfire. Here's another attempt at that cap. Timberwolf is now up to deny. This one will not go as successful for the Arctic Wolf, getting out at 66% with an open leg. And there is also a strike on the cap right now. Mad Dog is attempting to shoot down UAVs with SRMs and LBX-20. That is not... Make the Hunchbacks do that. I mean, they got lasers. It's a lot easier with lasers than with LBX-20.
This is a very tenuous cap advantage for Ace of the Wild right now. They are up in caps. It is a single cap, but it's like not even a sliver cap. It's like a pixel cap, if anything, at this point.
We have
With
a
Lance and
move. The Mad Cat was trying to make a flank move here. They are... Oh, are they spotted? If they are dead. Yep, absolutely they are dead.
Yep.
The Timberwolf is just pulling in behind. Gets the rear shot. Mad Cat's turned around. Nobody's there to play on the opposing side. Mad Cat's going to get some damage out here before going down.
Yep.
Maybe a little bit of a mistake here from Aces Wild. They should have gotten that kill without any return damage.
Yep.
Mad Dog is also getting caught in some in the
They're
fight
not
here.
combining fire. The Mad Cat is just about trash, yep. But Baron took a lot of damage in this Tindy as well.
Yeah, it wasn't needed. Could have made it a 2v1 instead of a 1v1. Mad Dog's getting jumped. Looks like they're already legged. Ivan the Terrible is going to go down. It's just how much damage do those Hunchbacks manage to put out before the remains of Aces Wild can get back into cover here. Arctic Wolf is still alive. Do they have their leg? Leg was open earlier. Looks like they're still moving well.
And the Hunchies definitely are taking damage as well, both from the rear and front. So their armor starting to get a little thin,
Yeah,
or at least one of them is. It's important to note that the Timberwolf actually, if that's a set of 8 build, which it looks like it might be, does pack a 4 jump jets as well, so you can get up
yeah. It will
pretty
have.
much to where it's pushing the Hunchie.
Yeah, it looks like it has all 5 jump jets there, so it's going to be able to get up on this Hunchback 2CA.
Yep.
The Orions are unable to participate. Oh no.
Oof.
Timberwolf goes down. The Mistlynx is the
Yep.
only mech remaining that has jump jets on the side of Aces Wild, and both legs are open on that. So, no, Huntsman as well. Huntsman has jump jets, right? This is not looking
It
good
does.
for Lance and Marduk. They almost pulled the strat out, but in the end, I do believe that these Hunchbacks will be going down.
Hunchback falls on the ground, trying to fight the Mistlings. It's also halved, so the heat dissipation has gone on now
Yeah,
at this point.
I don't think it can get back up. This is going to be finished off by one of these Orions. Goes
There it
down.
is.
So we have a Huntsman versus Arctic Wolf fight. Huntsman's open center torso. Arctic Wolf is legged, goes down.
That was a
And
snapshot on both of them. Alex could not afford to miss the CT, but Jiroku looks like he got the leg just fine.
yeah. Now, there are a number of kills returned. Looks like the Hunchback just woke up from a nap and is looking for another target. Mistlynx is moving slow. Is it legged?
I'm trying to scour my next now.
No,
Huntsman's open CT.
the Mistlynx barely has its
Orion.
legs, but it does have its legs.
Yep.
Nope, it does not.
Nope. Both legs are swept.
Both legs in one volley. So we have an Orion with an open side torso and no jump jets, most importantly, and a Huntsman 2C with an open center torso. I'm going to check the ammo count here on that Huntsman. Plenty of ammo remaining. Just need to find a way to get up.
Well, if you're seeing what I see now, I'm in the cockpit of Lloyd Strellock. He does not have the pitch to hit the Orion. He basically opened up the right side torso of the Orion 2C, but he could not finish him off. I think the Orion's looking to get right underneath him should he drop at all. I
Yeah.
do see that the Hunchback has seismic, so he's able to see.
Now the
Oh, interesting.
Hunchback's gone to a lower level here, so the Huntsman could easily make this jump now, I do believe. Whereas before it required a double jump to get up, I believe.
Yeah.
This isn't a jump that the Huntsman will have practiced, whereas the Hunchback probably spent some time in testing grounds just practicing these jumps, I would anticipate. Yeah,
I think you're right.
Huntsman's
Absolutely. They may not have the skills.
the Huntsman is figuring it out here. Hunchback 2CA is going down. I don't know about this play.
Oof. If he can get a little
That
range, he
Orion's
might
going to
be able
be.
to take out.
Oh, I don't know. The Orion is closing fast. Open side torsos, both sides on that Orion. But this Hunchback needs to get the kill here quick, as they are going to have heat issues. One side torso off on the Orion. Now the
Armor is
Hunchback is
still pretty
pulling
fresh
back.
though. Frontal armor is completely fresh on the torsos for the 2CA. The
Yeah,
Orion may be one touch in both side torsos at this point.
well, one side
Huntsman is
torso is
obviously.
off on that Orion 2CA,
Oh
and the second one is cherry red. So it's cut off the
yeah.
pursuit. The Hunchback 2CA has managed to reposition. There are 3.5 minutes left on the clock. That is the reason for this move here. The Hunchback needs to get the cap, get the kills, and head off to another cap, or this is going to be a cap win in the favor of Aces Wild.
Absolutely.
Time pressure is very high right now. Hunchback 2CA is making all the correct moves. I don't know if they're in time, though.
I don't think it is actually. I think it's
A UAV would be important here if anyone had a remaining UAV. The
yeah,
ones currently on Theta have timed out.
I think it's going to be a cap win at this point, having seen and run this before.
Yeah,
But
probably.
let's
It's
see what he
it's very
does.
close. If the Hunchback keeps both its legs and side torsos, there is a chance, I think. Could run through
He has
through
to
Theta and go to Kappa after. Maybe. But
he has to push aggressively now and take out both mechs.
there we
He
go.
doesn't. There we go. There's the Orion 2CA.
Now it's all down to the Hunchback versus the Huntsman. Huntsman is open center torso. Hunchback needs to keep its legs alive. Those are the most important components on the mech after the head and center torso.
Oh, now the Huntsman is one touch basically with that laser bomb. Zoe needs to play aggressive now. He
There
has
we
the
go.
there he goes.
Now, 2.5 minutes. I don't know. I think it's maybe
It's
taken a
going to
little
be
bit too
very
long.
close. Yeah, because he has to probably figure out the better part of a minute to get to another cap. Sliver cap this one and go. Because he has to make up ground now.
That is a nice Diamond Shark paint job here on the Hunchback 2CA. I mean, what's left of the paint job after so much combat?
Gotta love the artistry effects there.
So sliver cap on Epsilon, sprinting at top speed for Theta, 95.8 kph. So they have speed tweak on this Hunchback 2CA. That might save them. I don't know.
There's going
I
to be
don't think
close.
so. I don't think they have it, but it's going to be close.
I don't. Ooh, let me think for a second here. If they cap this with about a minute left, it's going to be. I think they'll be able to get over 100 caps, but not over 200 caps,
Yeah, they're going
unfortunately.
to make it to Kappa as well. They probably make it to Kappa with about a minute left on the clock. I don't think they make it to any other caps after that. Actually, it'd be less than a minute on the clock.
No, not even. Yeah, 30 seconds. They're lucky. I think at this point, there's a lot of buildings in the way.
Yeah, so they are not going to get the cap win here, even with optimal pathing. It just took a little bit too long to get the kills on all of the brawlers.
And some interesting strats we're seeing right now. Say it was actually quite an effective strat because the Aces of Onyx didn't really have the agility or the jets to really pressure the range players, but they were able to separate the ground-bound Marduk players and at least piece them out that way. And they just took a lot of damage on approach to the
Yeah.
final two, basically.
So 40 seconds here with a 3 cap. Desperately heading for the next cap point. I don't think they're going to make it there, but maybe they'll get a point or two before. Maybe they can get Gamma
No,
for 2-3 seconds. I doubt it.
yeah,
And if there were 2 mechs alive, this wouldn't be an issue. There would have been enough time with a minute and a half with 2 mechs capping. But just with the 1 mech
just about.
capping, it's not possible.
Yep. We have seen actually a good amount of certainly Brawl play out in Solaris. This is sort of what I would call a middleweight deck, or tonnage deck, but also a good amount of range, because range is able to sort of corral people into that space basically.
We've gathered enough resources.
Very nice.
This triumph will provide us huge tactical benefits.
Looks like a cap win plus 4 kills for Aces Wild and 4 kills for 5 kills, sorry, for Lance of Marduk. So it looks like the score is 32 to 22 in favor of Aces by my count.
Yeah, so I've got 32 to 22.
Yep, that's what I
Okay.
have as well.
Yeah,
Still
so Lance
close.
of Murdoch with the 22 points. Okay. I'm going to be switching the players' sides here.
We've had some very interesting matches so far. Nearly a full lock-on round for Tourmaline and a elevated control strat versus pure brawl strat for Solar City.
Yeah, it's been a good match so far. The drops have been close. We've seen a variety of strategies. So last drop here, I'm going to run through the damage. Strelok has 1,000 damage in that Hunchback 2 CA. Also picked up 4 out of the 5 kills for their team, but was not able to get the cap points. And yeah, very impressive performance there out of Strelok. Lower damage numbers on the brawlers, like the Mad Cat Mark II, managed to actually put out 200 damage before going down, which it never should have, but it did get an opportunity to play the game there briefly. Mad Dog with a low damage total as well. Arctic Wolf, low damage total. So very much it was the Overwatch mechs who were isolated from the majority of the brawlers, those Orion 2 CAs that were able to put out the majority of the damage for Lance of Murdoch. On the opposing side, it's the Timberwolf S from the Baron that put out 600 damage, actually able to get up there with the jump jets, and then the Huntsman as well put out 450 damage. Didn't
I think it was Lance's delivery. I mean, I will compliment their traders, and they had Lions down the typical approach to Epsi, but also the guy who was far ahead Lions looking into the theater direction. If the article had been backed up at the Mad Dog, simply to flip the cap and then sit back, I think they would have pushed and taken a cap earlier, which would have led to maybe a cap win on their end, a control win.
Yeah, potentially. Just the inability to secure the cap ended up mattering. Or even to decap would have been huge, and then you could just deny it with your traders. There's no pressure.
Yeah. It was like I said, like a barely a pixel cap of nothing else. And at one point it was decap, but I think the fight took them away from actually capping out for points. So.
Yeah. Okay, next drop we're going to drop 4, which is a 400 ton cap limit or tonnage limit for each team. 400 tons maximum with a 5v5. So we're going to see assault mechs here, and we're going to Viridian Bog, which is another map where if you are doing range receive, jump jets can be very valuable.
Oh, and I'm going to do your reminder to switch the overlays if you haven't already.
Yeah, let's double check that. I think I did it. Yeah, they should be correct.
It looks like Marduk is locked, and we have aces forming their lances right now. Marduk coming in at 390 tons. Aces looks like they're going to take the full 400.
Yeah, 390, giving up 10 tons, not a big deal.
We've definitely seen a lot of slightly underweight decks. Typically, it's indicative of, if it's 10 tons, it might be taking two executioners and some other things that make up the other tonnage, or things that really carve 5 or 10 tons out of the weight bracket.
Yeah. Could be night gears, summoners. There's a lot of good options available to make up a drop deck at that 400 ton range.
Absolutely. What's interesting here is, both sides have great positioning to cover and deny theta, or at least inflict damage on approach. But in a tournament that really places emphasis on kills, we've seen a lot of mid-range push and mid-range trade battles take place. So let's see what they bring. And a quick reminder for radiocast, if anything. I think you probably got it anyway.
Yeah, this time I've got it.
Great.
Okay, taking a look here quick at Lancer Marduk, we have... Hold on, let me pull up that mech. Hunchback 2CA with the same build as last time, ear large, ear mead. Second Hunchback 2CA is running the heavy large ear mead, and they're backing that up with a pair of Kodiaks with AC10 ear PPC or AC10 and 4 flamers on the second Kodiak, and then a Madcat Mark II with Goss ear large ear mead, so mid-range Goss vomit. Opposing side, Aces Wild, we've got a Timberwolf with standard laser vomit. It is not the S variant, so it does not have the center torso jump jet. Second Timberwolf is the BH variant, the Bounty Hunter, which should have the ECM, has a set of 8 for those large pulse lasers, and a pair of Highlander 2C Keepers, and what have I missed? Sunspider. Sunspider is going to be mid-range vomit as well. So a pair of low assault brawlers and then 3 mid-range laser vomit mechs on the side of Aces Wild.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I think you're seeing some disparity of builds here. The Bounty Hunter, the Charlie. I'm not sure if that maybe indicates a shortage or availability of certain mechs or preferred variants. Certainly, the S in a elevated map like this might be the preferred option.
Resource point theta is
I
ours.
also note the keepers are not speed tweaked, particularly if they plan to close in quickly and brawl. So that might be a bit of an execution thing, basically trying to. They probably should have used ECM to better cover their approach. Right now, it looks like Marduk has taken theta, and the Tindies were not able to deny
Yeah.
initially. So we'll see
Right
how this
now,
plays out.
Aces Wild has just kind of stalled out and are bleeding armor. Now they're making a move toward Theta with the Highlanders. Timberwolves are just sticking with them in one big push here. They saw one of the Kodiak 3s, the AC-10s. I did see some weapons fired there, so they're aware that there's a Kodiak near Theta, but they probably
One of
feel they can
the
outbrawl that considering that the Hunchback 2CAs are not nearby and have low DPS.
yeah.
If they
But the
actually
thing
just
is,
fold up and push, I think they'd have the advantage here.
they're definitely taking. They're bleeding a ton of armor right now, though. Even with laser bomb, there's at least 3 mechs from Lance and Marduk that have lines on Theta, or at least the Theta area, and they're just absolutely drilling these mechs. With aces so bunched up, it's a shooting gallery down there right now.
Yeah, Highlanders are open side torso on the lead Highlander. Kodiak is now getting into range there. Highlander's open center torso and is stalled out on the push, but that Kodiak just lost a side torso. The Kodiak goes down. Highlander's still up, but has been halved. Second Highlander here from Pincushion still has full armor and is pushing in at 68%.
I am gonna, I think, call this for Marduk even at this stage. I feel like the damage the aces have taken at this point, they'll start falling like dominoes, especially with the
Yeah.
slower mechs.
The Sunspider is halved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which means
Pincushion's
it's
attempting to
e-
trade at range here with LBX-20s. That's not going to work.
Theta
yeah.
is controlled by the
Even with
enemy.
the range and the ability to just register a hit, if you're firing out of like 350, 300 at some point, it's just spread damage, farming damage at some point. So they may be just trying to take the cap and sit on it,
Yeah,
frankly.
stop trading,
With
keep the
odd
armor,
numbers,
force the opponents to counter push.
pretty much eight
Um,
and a half minutes, so they still have that advantage.
yeah, a lot of
But
time
enough
left,
spread.
but
Yeah.
there are damage mechs on the side of Lancer Marduk. It looks like heat damage perhaps on Strelok's Hunchback 2CA. Magcat is basically completely fresh, but the Kodiak is open center torso, ready to go down one hit from one of those laser vomit mechs.
And
Need to
the other
stop trading
hunchback
here
is
on the side
pretty
of
much
Ace as
just armor
well.
damage.
One of the hunchbacks, or sorry, one of the Timberwolves is open center torso, one is open side torso, and the Sun Spider is halved. So stop trading, make the opponents push up towards you. That's the advice I would be giving Aces Wild right now.
Yeah, right now. If they had executed that theta push again, what I would have had them do is have these Suns better abuse its high mounts and really just trade from the stairs, because that would have given lines on at least two of the Marduk traders, and use the speed of the Timbies as outriders, basically, on the left if you really want to push it.
Yeah,
Those are also the two with ECM. So, assuming they're actually that's a good point. Is assuming they were using config files to remove the lily pads, they might have been able to sneak around to the left side.
yeah. Yeah, we don't know whether or not these lily pads are visible on the player's screen, and with the ECM that can make a big difference. If those lily pads are there, you're shooting at red boxes, or if there's ECM, you have nothing you can shoot at. And if the lily pads are not visible on your screen, it doesn't really matter whether or not Aces Wild is running the ECM on their Timberwolves, which I imagine that they are running the ECM on their mechs.
They are, yeah. Could be
Oh, we
useful or
have
not.
a
Oh,
mech going down. It's a Timberwolf that was open center torso. Now, one of these Hunchback 2CAs is open side torso, very low percentage, 52%. The other is at 58%. Nothing open in its torsos yet.
you do see them taking very aggressive flanking positions on the high ground, doing some pop tart laser burns. Hard to always hold a burn on a target there, especially if you're doing sideways and vertical movement at the same time. But it's definitely putting damage on mechs that are already, I think, just about under 60%. So yeah,
Now,
it's a
these
matter of time, I
Hunchbacks are
would say.
getting aggressive. That Mad Cat should be fronting this push. That is actually the fresh mech, but it's the Hunchbacks that are taking the most shots here, it looks like. The
I think
Highlanders
that
are
Mad
unable
Cat,
to participate in this combat, which is a serious problem.
yeah, the Mad
Effectively,
Cat, I think, took a bit of a error in positioning. Actually, it sort of waded into the middle of the Aces formation, where it should have probably gone in, rolled up from the Golf Six, Hotel Six angle, because now it's sort of got enemies on both sides. It's fresh, but that could change very quickly. It's got a very sort of like not the highest alpha bomb, but it should be able to just knock out CTs in pretty much one
Sunspider is
alpha.
being pushed on from two sides, will be going down shortly. The Hunchbacks did not go down in that return fire. Mad Cat is making the push, 85%. Kill goes down on the
There it
Timberwolf.
is.
So, yeah, the armor's at the front of this push. The Highlanders are now having targets to shoot at, but they've lost too much. They're not going to be able to do a whole lot here. Maybe they can pick up... No
Boom.
kills picked up. So that's 4 kills to none on the favor of Lance of Murdoch. So, or, sorry, 4 kills to 1.
One.
Um,
That I think the red CT had Kodiak was pushed by Highlanders, who then were essentially stuck down there and rotated on.
yeah, didn't manage to pick up
Nope,
the
but now they
kill.
have to spread for caps, I believe, with 4 mechs
Point
and
Theta is
multiple
ours.
caps nearby. They will be able to get it this time.
Yeah, caps aren't a concern with 4.5 minutes remaining on the clock and plenty of legs to go get them. Yeah, well played, Lance or Murdoch. Marduk. I keep saying Murdoch. Uh, yeah, just kind of playing it cautiously, not not throwing the Kodiaks away, pulling them back at the appropriate time.
Yeah, even if they weren't dealing damage and were hiding, they were definitely holding angles and were able to spot for the other mechs, which I think gave the two CAs the ability to just pull quick flanks, knowing that their own flanks were clear of anybody who might be
Command
playing range.
confirming that we have possession of Kappa.
Yeah, still plenty of ammo on that Kodiak from Ivan the Terrible, but no armor remaining. So in that final push, it was hanging back and not participating effectively at all in that push. So
We have gained Epsilon.
saving the points as these are, a point for your opponent is a point for your opponent. So you try to prevent giving them away for free.
Huge tactical benefit.
Absolutely. And we have a close match here heading into the final drop. We are, I think by my count, currently at 33 for aces with a single kill, single point they picked up versus 36 for Lance of Marduk. So everything is on the table now for the Crucible drop.
Yeah, 36 to 34.
I had
Did I?
30. Actually, let me just double check. They had 32 after Solaris, right? So 1 point would be 33.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, 33 points for Joker's Wild, and then 36 points for Lance of Marduk. Got a visual display bug, so it's kind of, yeah. Okay, and then we're going on to the last drop, which is going to be Terra Therma Crucible. Make sure we get that correct map.
Right.
Damage totals from last drop. The Mad Cat Mark II with the mid-range Gauss Vomit comes out big with 750 damage. Hunchback 2CAs with just under 500 each. Ivan the Terrible in the Kodiak 3, the surviving Kodiak 3 with 450, and the dead Kodiak coming up a little bit shorter. Opposing side, Timberwolves leading the way with 470, 450 damage each. Sunspider, it was halved early, but I was expecting to see more than 150 damage on that Sunspider. Yep. And then the Highlander 2Cs, they did manage to eat the Kodiak, but beyond that, they didn't really have a participatory role in that, the majority of the combat there, so lower damage totals.
Yep. Not at all, not at all. I mean, it was a good thought, but I think the Marduk, the Lesser Marduk team basically held at least 2 or 3 traders with lines on the approach lead all the times. That just the short range and split with the Highlanders plus their slow speed, they just ate too much damage again on approach, and they were all ball up as well, so there were very little lines to take back against the traders. The other thing about being on the high ground is your mounts work for you, and most of those were mid to high mountain mechs, the 2Cs, 2CAs, and the Death Strike, even the Kodiaks. Whereas being the low ground works against not just the Highlanders, but even the Timbies. Only the Sunspire would have probably had the right elevation of the mounts to shoot back appropriately as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing any complaints in chat about anything on the stream, so hopefully everything's going smooth.
Yeah, I'm watching the delay right now. It looks like presenting just fine. Everything's showing up the right way.
I like to try to remember to go over and check chat to see if anyone's yelling at me about something that happened 5+ minutes before that I should have fixed already.
Looks like I have an audience so far.
Yeah, last drop here, we've got 500 tons available to each team. That is maximum tonnage. They can take any mech they so choose, other than the chassis restriction. So we've seen Kodiaks being used up. We've seen Highlander 2C A's being, or the Highlander 2C Keeper being used up. So we'll have to see something other than Kodiaks and Highlanders from some of these players, some of these teams, but the Direwolves have not been used. So we could see a lot of Direwolves. I don't think I've seen a Blood Asp yet this match, so we could see Blood Asp. I haven't seen Executioners either. That would be There's a couple ways to play this. The Caldera Theta cap is the active cap point on here. So you could just see a mid-range DACA push into the Caldera with Kodiaks or Direwolves of that nature. That's pretty popular. Or we could see a team putting a little bit more effort into their pre-planning, figuring out the locations around the Caldera in which they can shoot in with like a highland with with an executioner on the high mountains around the Caldera with ERPPCs
Absolutely.
or something of that nature. And
Yeah,
if you elect to go with the Kodiaks into the center and your opponents take the executioners on the rim, or not the rim, but the surrounding high points, the mountains around it, it turns into a fish in a bowl type situation where you're just getting shot from 3 or 4 different sides. You're twisting and turning, and anytime you face a direction, you get shot in your back. So it's a lock
absolutely.
at 440 tons here for Lance of Marduk, and that's a low tonnage for this
That is,
drop.
that's an average of roughly 12 tons. So, I would say, some combination of executioners and maybe faster mechs. They may have even gone max tonnage on a few mechs and gone lighter on one or two. I'm recalling the Dark Sea Corsairs versus Equilibrium match yesterday where Dark Sea Corsairs brought up Beagle, and the Beagle,
Yeah.
I believe, pulled top damage over 900, just 2 deeps and 3 HMGs alone. But it played a very effective role to your point, kiting, flying around, taking angles that even the Xes of Equilibrium could not pull.
So
And we're
what I'm
well,
thinking actually is that they might be taking a fast medium to try and get the cap point. Might see 4 Direwolves and a Viper at 440 tons,
yeah,
but they are giving up 55 tons here, so we'll see what they can do with what they brought.
absolutely. Yeah. Something interesting to note is, the original playstyle of Crucible when it came out, you could see high traders on the sides in certain volcanoes, Block 6, for example. But Krasdex, the map designer, put in place background heat to nullify the heat vision advantage some players would have, basically. So now to trade, you do have the ability to deny theta, I think mostly on visuals, and maybe a little heat. You can't just shoot them on approach anymore. So
Yeah.
let's see what they brought.
All right, we've got Kodiaks on the side of Aces Wild, 4 Kodiaks, 1 Executioner. Get the builds here quick.
Very common deck.
AC10 ERPPC on 1 Kodiak, 2 Kodiak, 3 Kodiak, 4 Kodiak, so just standard. And the Executioner is 3 large pulse and 10 ER micro, so a little bit different than the more meta large pulse, small pulse, ER micro. They drop the small pulse and instead take a third large pulse. Looking at Lance of Marduk, we've got Kodiaks with 4 Flamers and 4 AC10s. Kodiak with ERPC and 4 AC10. Summoners with ATM3, 9 ATM3 on both those summoners, and they brought their tag as well. And then an Ultraviolet with 7 AC5s. How's the ammo look on that? 235 rounds. That probably is enough, but they must have stripped armor or something to get that 7th autocannon 5 on there.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's a
Absolutely.
mid-range push deck, but with ATMs, so be interesting to see how those ATMs work out. They did give up a lot of tonnage to bring a pair of ATM summoners.
Yeah. Not at all the lighter fast mediums like we thought they would.
Yeah.
I mean, they might just be standing off armor because they are fairly agile, but they do lack the pinpoint and the direct fire capabilities. And we see aces pushing through the center.
Yeah, Execution is going for the cap. Let's see the punish. Summoners
Knights of
are.
Marduk does have
Theta is
sides.
controlled
Yeah.
by the enemy.
Cap has been taken.
Marduk does have a line, but they are blocked by some of these structures, rock formations right now. So only 2 of them really have lines in the theta.
Aces Wild is continuing to push here. They have not just pulled back after taking the cap. Summoners are not getting in any punishment here. Now, the Ultraviolet's actually taken a lot of damage on the side of Lance of Marduk. So they're down in percentages here.
Yeah, I was in his cockpit actually on the initial Ace wall push, and he took fire from 2 Kodiaks going side by side. So definitely lost some of those trades.
Yeah. A lot of firepower on those Kodiaks. Pretty pinpoint as well. Like 50 points with very little spread. Aces Wild is playing this aggressively. They are looking for the kills here. They want to solidify their position in first place in the division. Lance of Marduk has not been a pushover here. They're near the bottom of the division, but they're putting up quite a fight. It's always good to see.
Absolutely.
It
Definitely a number of
looks,
good players on either side.
yeah, those ATMs need to put out more damage here before they try to make a push. Oh no, Kodiak is open side torso on the side of Lance of Marduk. Center torso is open on one of the Kodiaks from Aces Wild. Second Kodiak has an open side
Ultraviolet.
torso.
Ultraviolet's lost one of his AC5s. It looks like the right torso is hanging by a thread, although Pincushion's Kodiak's also
I have a
about to lose his
question
left
here.
torso.
Where are the strikes? There we go. There's some red smoke. Everybody's so bunched up. Artillery strikes or even air strikes could be very valuable here. Kodiak has been halved from Pincushion on Ace's Wild side, but there's significant
Similarly,
damage.
Ultraviolet's about to go down as well,
Yeah.
but he is taking vertical cover.
Center torso is open on two of the Kodiaks for Lance and Marduk. And Darwolf, as mentioned, is halved. So both teams are playing it fairly stationary and static, not making a push. I'm seeing a disconnect. Am I disconnected?
Um,
Severe server desync here on my end. I take it.
I'm seeing things just fine, I would say.
Well, everyone on Aces Wild was moonwalking on my side, and now everyone's missing side torsos. So something happened
Might have
there.
been something on your end, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no moonwalking on my side. They're still taking shots and moving around. Yeah.
We have a low ground fight. Summoners are getting min-ranged here. 60-meter minimum range on those ATM summoners. One of
Aces
them is
pushes
legged.
across the bridge.
This looks like the final push here. One summoner in the low ground being chased into the lava, and a Kodiak that has just gone down. So looks like the summoners may be legged as well. Yeah. So this shouldn't take much longer here. The one kill was returned. I think I missed the start of that push there. My apologies to the stream. Looks like most of Ace Wild relatively healthy, and they pulled back the damaged Kodiak to keep the points from going to their opponent.
Even with that Kodiak down, Praetorian Runners definitely did put out his or her share of the damage at over 700, although top honors goes to Baron Berzel von Binstilt, it looks like. And I'll let you run over the rest of these when they go down.
Okay, so going to go through the damage real quick here. Relatively even damage spread on the side of Lance and Marduk. The ATM summoners, one put out 400 damage, the other 270. That is not enough to get the win, as we saw. Need a little bit more damage out of those mechs. So ATM Gambit did not pay off. On the side of Aces Wild, top damage is 800 from, Baron. I think you went through that. 700 on one of the other Kodiaks, a little lower numbers on. Well, Pincush basically pulled out to stay alive, so good job keeping the mech alive, but didn't put out much damage. Points total for the match.
It was 1 point for Marduk, so it looks like 47 for Aces and 37 for Lance of Marduk.
Yeah, so I've got a visual display bug, so yeah, it's 47 to 37 despite what it is showing in the overlay. So, well played both teams. That's actually, Joker's Wild came in toward the top of the division, probably in first place in the division based off of trying to... Some of the other teams already played, so I wasn't quite confident. Lance of Marduk was sitting at the bottom of the division, so 36 points is fairly significant there in order to pull Lance of Marduk further up in the division. And Joker's Wild, it was closer than maybe everyone would have expected coming in, but those 47 points go a long ways towards cementing the divisional lead.
Absolutely, yeah, they were probably kept in check just a little bit, but this definitely wasn't a rollover or anything like that. It was actually quite the seesaw battle, starting with the duels going back and forth each time. So very entertaining to watch and interesting decks as well.
Yeah, it was a good match. Always nice to see. That wraps it up for us here, I believe. Anything that you want to co-cross that I missed, or anything?
No, not at all. Not at all. I just thought I'd jump in and help you with the lobby a bit,
All
but
right.
you ran things perfectly as you always do there. I really
Yeah.
appreciate your casting.
Well, thank you for joining me as co-caster here today at that last
My pleasure.
minute, kind of.
Yep.
So thanks to the two teams for showing up, letting us cast their match. You can't have comp without teams playing, so thank you to
Absolutely.
Joker's Wild and Lance of Marduk. This is Therax doing the cast, and it was Blue Devil Spawn joining me as the
Tagging
last
along.
second co-caster here. And thank you, viewers, for showing up, supporting the team, supporting the MechWarrior Online competitive scene, and thank you for watching. So that's it. I'm cutting the stream, and yeah, that's everything.
Thank you all.